So there was a boy named Steve Cousin, and he's very talented. When he was 11, he memorized the entire Quran by word to word, which was really awesome. And then so he read all of Sheikh Ahmad's books and agreed to them. And one day he had a dream that he should leave and meet Sheikh Ahmad. So when he was 22 years old, he left his parents at home, went and met Sheikh Ahmad. And then what had happened is that then the king was very surprised by Sheikh Ahmad that he invited them to go to I think Tehran. And so the only reason Sheikh Ahmad agreed to go, Sayyid Kazim also came along, but the only reason that Sheikh Ahmad agreed to go was because Tehran was the place where the Promised One was born, and he wanted to be near to the Promised One, which is Baha'u'llah. And then so then the king's eldest son was very admired by Sheikh Ahmad, and so he invited Sheikh Ahmad, and Sayyid Kazim came along too, to stay with him and live with them. But Sheikh Ahmad was sad because it was like about 100 miles away. So he got further away. And then so 4 years later, the prince died, and so Sheikh Ahmad and Sayyid Kazim were free to go. So then they went back to the place. I don't know what it was called, but they went back. And so Sheikh Ahmad went and left Sayyid Kazim in charge of
Deuce, chapter 11. So he was a young boy, and one day he found two people walking down this road. So I need a volunteer. Who would like to come up? Basim, you volunteered.
No.
Yeah, we practiced. Okay, so he saw, pretend Basim is the person at the back. So there was another person in the front, and the person in the front, this was all like, oh, I know him, because he knew it was the Bab from the way he walked. So he went up to Mullah Hussein. He's like, I know that man. And Mullah Hussein was like, no, don't go near him. And then Deuce was all like, no, and was all like, no, I know who it is, the way he walks. And Mullah Hussein was shocked. Be shocked. There, see, he's shocked. Okay, you can have a seat. Thank you, Basim. And so when he was shocked, and then Mullah Hussein went up to the Bab and he told him about this young man, and the Bab was like, do not be worried about his strange, obscure youthness. He is the final letter of the living. He's the 18th member, so that's Qudus's story. And then now, chapter.
He had asked all the disciples what Sayyid Kazim had told them to do, and then they said to scatter around for the Promised One, but then they were all like making these excuses to stay and not go. So then Mullah Hussein forgot about them and just went on his own, and he explained to this a Sayyid the teachings of Sheikh Ahmad, and the Sayyid started crying because it was like the way he explained it was so good. And then after that he went to this kind of like money for explaining, and then the spy saw that he was staying in this room with nothing except the carpet in the middle. So then the spy goes back and says, go give this gift of money to him, and then he doesn't accept it because he says the greatest gift was for you to listen to me justly. And in chapter 7, Mullah Hussein met. Okay, so then he took off and he met the young man at the gate, which would be the Promised One. And then the man seemed to know him, and then the young man invited Mullah Hussein into his house, and then they kept on talking, and then all overnight they were like Mullah Hussein was testing him, to see if he was the Promised One. And then he had these attributes that he had to find in the person, and then they all corresponded. And then also, I think somebody had told Mullah Hussein that the promised one would reveal himself, and he did.
Actually, Tara was not able to go to school because she was a girl, so she educated herself. Such as learning how to read and write by herself and stuff. And his dad was proud of her daughter because she was clever and all, but he was kind of mad at her when he found out that she was reading the teachings of Sheikh Ahmad, because her dad did not agree with his writings, but she knew that they were right. So she had a dream of the Bob, all she could remember in a notebook. She also wanted to meet brain freeze. She also wanted to meet Sayyid Kazim one day, but once she arrived, he was dead 10 days earlier. He died 10 days earlier. So later on, he wrote a letter to the Bob and sent it. Sorry, he wrote a letter to her sister's husband, so he could send it to the Bob. And when the Bob read it, she immediately became a letter of the living.